So I don't have this cloud page here, but somehow I had created this to just to test and see. Hmm, I did something here. It requires one more session to explain full details about this. Anyway,
Yeah, Sasi, no
so
problem. I'll go with this blog, Sasi.
but let me try to
Okay.
explain few things. Hmm.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So when you're having an API event, hmm, what you do is if I show you here. Okay, so let me create a new API event. So I create an API event. Okay, this is the API event definition that this gets added. Okay, see, it does not allow you to modify this API event for you. Hmm. But what happens is once sometimes you activate this, sometimes this API event might be changed. So only copy this API event once you activate the journey. Okay. Here, the first prerequisite I have explained here in the. I'll always suggest you what you all need to do. Hmm. Go through this blog and try to understand. I had asked multiple times. Once you do this, and you also have to select a data extension. Okay. So I haven't created data extension, but I'm randomly taking this. So whatever your data extension that you're selecting, you have to understand what are the attributes in the data extension. When I'm adding this one to inject the subscriber into the journey, okay, I have used M script here. So I have this M script, right? So this is an M script. So see here, in the data, you have this in the payload. I have the contact key. I have the event key definition that I'll tell you. Okay, established contract is basically true, that you have to make it true. But this is the payload. Hmm. This payload, this one, hmm, this part of the payload is basically your data extension attributes that you're adding. So if you have a data extension here, if I'm creating an event, hmm, if I'm creating an event, if I'm selecting a data extension, then all those attributes, let's say in this first data extension, whatever they are using here, in this data extension, whatever attributes you have to incorporate into this payload, right? So the first point is how you're designing your data extension. That is important. So that is, see, again, yeah, I don't want to, if I go that will be a very big discussion. Whatever important, I'm going to, maybe I'll explain that.
Sure, Sasi.
Mm.
So where do we exactly put this event definition key to, uh,
Yeah,
I just
I'm
want
going
to
there.
understand.
I'm going to there.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
going there.
okay.
Hmm. So first is uh, to inject using API event key. The first point is here, this one, access to get the access token, right? So to get the
Yes.
access token, uh, so from the install package, what happens is if once I create the install package, hmm, uh, once I do all these steps here, I didn't show this install package configuration. What happens after this is it will give you the authentication REST API, okay, REST API, SOAP API details, client ID and client secret. Go to apps, install package. Okay. So from the install package, you can create your install package. I'll show you here. What I created, or created a data extension called API config. Hmm. Just for example, I said this will might be a API event key that I can include. Just for simplicity, I said journey builder, and I said authentication, REST API, SOAP API, client ID, and client secret. I stored in a data extension. In the SS course estimate, first you need to implement this platform function, that is the library that you want to incorporate into this SSS. From this lookup, okay, this line, lookup, hmm, I look up to the data extension, which is basically this API config, okay, and through the journey builder field, which is session 4, I brought all the data, okay, and then I added the client ID, client secret, and the URL. Hmm. And this URL is basically to get the access token. You need to have a, which URL you need to add? You need to add the API for authentication, not the REST. Hmm. So this is the authentication REST API, authentication API that you have to get for token, and this is the URL. Okay, this is what you need to configure. Okay, grant type, client ID, client secret. You can define the scope also and the account ID also, but I'm not going to into all these details. Here, what I did was, and I added this token. Hmm. v2 token I appended here with plus. Okay, so I simply brought it from the data extension which is here. I created this code. Okay, and here I haven't printed it anything. Let me print it for you, just to show. Even in I don't have the cloud page enabled for me here in this view. So I have a lot of ways to basically I can do. Uh, so I created an here I created a AMScript variable also to print. I can print SSJs also, but I showed I can do anything with SSJs and AMScript. Okay, so I'm trying to print a token. So see, okay, I have to, yeah. So you can see I can get the access token. I got this access token. Or if I have to slow down, let me know.
Yes, yes, I'm following.
How many people were able to follow this? What I'm saying is little, it requires little patience to understand. My uh, here, I think I have shown in lot of ways also. In SSLs also, in AMScript also, I think how to trigger send, retrieve, unsubscribe, dynamic. Yeah. So API trigger event. Hmm. This is why. Then after that also, I can do it with you know with AMScript also. Okay. How to call the access token. So I have defined lot of ways to do. You can do with AMScript also, or you can do with SSJs as well. Hmm. Trigger send, add, update, or retrieve, send classification, access token. So I have explained how you can do via SSJs or via MScript. It is up to your. I showed you how to build an access token. What I did was simply like if I have to show like I'm presenting to everyone, right? I don't want to add your client ID, client secret, and the authentication URL there, and expose my details, right? So for that, I add it into a data extension. One way to optimize, isn't it interesting, Deepak?
Yes, I see. That's a new thing
Okay.
actually. Saving all
Now
those in
I'll
a
get
data extension.
one more very interesting thing that I can say. Huh? So I just showed you like I build it in the content, like in the email, and I showed you this can work, right? What I also can do
Yes.
is copy this. Hmm. So let me not print it. I don't print it. Just it was only for you people to learn. So what I can do here, I can create a content block, okay, with uh, code snippet. Now I created a code snippet here. I pasted the same code. Okay. Now I'll call this as access token. So this becomes access token. Now I'm going to save this access token. Okay. So this is the basically I should have. So for this, what I can also do is okay, I copied this. Hmm. I'm just going to remove everything from here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is percentage startup percentage, and you say yeah, and you say oh
Content by key block.
CONTEN content block by ID. Okay, and I this is the content block by ID, right? So I had to print the access token. So at the rate access token, and if I do this also, let's see if it prints the access token or not. See, it prints the access token. Okay.
Yes.
See, I'm not exposing the code. Now who will understand what I've done here? So if I have a cloud page, if I have a cloud page, I can copy this 2 line of code into my cloud page. Okay, and then let's say this is HTML. Mm. And now this is a cloud page, HTML. If I just print, if I just write these two, I'm not exposing to anyone, right? What I've done inside. But I can still print the access token. Following me?
Yes, I see.
How many people follow till now what I said
Yes, Shashi,
to
got
you?
it. I have a question here. Let's
Mm.
say you mentioned about this API package. So the credential which we
Mm.
have, the client ID and the client ID, and there's another one, client username, kind of a username and password, right? So uh, I wanted to know. I mean, let's say, can we change it? If let's say generally it's like it's been advised to change, keep changing it after a time because
So what you're saying is it is advice. Yeah, if it's getting exposed to a lot of people, is obviously, but it will going to impact a lot of your journeys and other things.
yeah.
Hmm. So what you can do is, yeah, obviously you can keep on updating the data extension. Now, if I have maintained a very good question anyway, but here, like I said, I have a data extension. Now you can keep on updating the data extension. Like say you want to see authentication, this URL is not going to change no matter how many times. the API is being called, or how many install package you are installing, it has nothing to do. The API will remain the same. The
Yes.
only thing changes, what you are saying, is client ID and the client secret. If you create a multiple uh, install package, hmm,
Mhm.
so what you're saying is we should basically keep on changing. I agree to some certain extent. If you're exposing it too much, it's good. And here, what you do is you can go and update the data extension, the client ID and client secret. It will work. Although, see, this auth, rest, soap, it never changes. Must keep in mind that this everything, how you're maintaining your data extension with this config, it is up to you. But yeah, I agree to you what you're saying. You can keep on deleting the install package, creating a new one, and yeah, you can keep on changing the client ID and client secret. It will not affect if you do the code this way. Hmm. Because I'm picking it from a data extension. If somebody is hard coding, then the full use case will be in a mess.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is one good example what you said. That what I can incorporate with this code. Different integration that happens. Yeah, see, this is API integration. That's okay. Where's the next one? This one. So you have this public app, web app. Hmm. So web app and public app, see, public app, it only requires client, right? It is only giving you a client ID, it's not giving client secret. This is the authorization code. These are client credentials. So उसमें जाने के लिए I can go into details, but I don't want to, Sumit, for now.
Yeah, I'm getting what you're saying. We just have to add a little code for authorization. It will work. I mean, I kind of getting what you're saying.
Huh. Huh. From there are a lot of way to authenticate by user also, giving user ID, password, and also there is another flow I have to go there to explain you.
Got it, got it. I was
Okay.
thinking it is a manual process, but yeah, you told me how to
Hmm.
automate it. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, देखो, ये in this page, if you go to this URL, if you go to this web and public API, okay, the integration of things little changes. See, you have to understand client application, marketing cloud server, and then marketing cloud resource. Huh. If you're using server to server, see, you're directly hitting the this resource and getting it back. But if you use web API and others, then there is some flow that changes. I don't want to go. यहाँ पे जाऊंगा, so it will be a different. Okay, and not everybody will understand also.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Shashi.
Moving forward, yeah. So another one is once you uh, see, once you get this token, hmm, you configured, and I'm adding. Why I did this last line? This line number 24 is if I write this code in such a way, okay, where I can use this access token, this code snippet that I showed you just now, right? I used it in the email as well. I used it in the email also. If I copy this code and take it to cloud page or any other pages, hmm, or SMS or anywhere, WhatsApp or anywhere, I can print the access token, right? So I'm building a reusable component using code snippet. So this is one advantage, basically how you should write a code. And yeah, a single line of code, like somebody is very keen with AMScript, they can still use access token. Okay, if they want to use this access token, hmm, so this might be a problem because there are two little difference with the scope with SSJS and AMScript. Hmm. So anyway, I always prefer using AMScript if I have to use it out of the scope. Okay, inside the scope, inside I'm building one function, right? I just created this function here to build to what you say, just to get the access token. Let's say, see, this is what happens if I have to dig dive. I don't know how many people will follow. मुझे वही डर लगता है. So from here, I'm getting the client. I'm adding this here, and where I'm doing this a post. In this response, I have to parse this response and get the access token. So parsing the JSON that I'm going to receive of this post with AMScript is little difficult, but there is a way out to do it. When I get the access token, parsing I can do. Then I can trigger the API journey, and this is the triggering the API journey AMScript code, and then I can paste it here. So if most of the people, what they do, I'll remove this two line of code, right? So what they are going to do is they're going to write the codes in this fashion. Okay, first access token, and then do hit the API event for the journey, and in single code it will be here, right? And it will work, definitely is going to work. Hmm. Only this access token where I've added here, this access token, it has to be parsed from this response at the rate response. There is a way of which I haven't added here. Okay, a lot of people is going to do this way, but I'm not going to do this way. what I'm going to do, I'm going to create two different blocks like I did it initially, like this way, right? So I'm going to call this block wherever I want, and I want to call this block wherever I want. Hmm. Only thing that I have to change is this API. This is like here. Now I'm going to this or the second part for the journey. So this is taking long time where I don't want to take a long time here. Here, when you establish here, so there is a what all things you require. You require the now the REST API, okay, domain from the REST API, and I'm going to call and assign this mscript variable to that. Oh, this one domain. Ah, this API event key, Deepak. This one will be I can add like I added journey builder. Okay, I can add one more attribute called API event key. Hmm. And again, I can fetch that one, and from where I'm going to call. So what I'm going to do, see, I created this journey builder. Basically, I should have called this as a API event key. For a lookup, it will be much easier for me. Or if you have any other things, like I said, journey builder session 4, then for this, I can create a API event key. I create this, assign to this API journey event key. Okay. Then mm, I can use this establish key. Okay. This is basically hard coded here with true. And whatever this is the data extension attributes that you want to add it to your data extension, which is attached to the journey. If you have more attributes, you have to add more attributes here. So for minimal condition, I have added only first name, last name, email address, and the subscriber key. Hmm. And when you run the HTTP post, then it will get fired. Is it clear? So see, uh, I'm only still in the first part of the question here. Hmm. But what I'm trying to explain you all is, if you build a building block, right, like this access token in a core snippet and trigger API in another one. Hmm. So I can utilize everything. Say this is also, let's say, copy this. This is my core snippet. So this is for access token, and now I can say another content block with core snippet, hmm, and I pasted this one here. Okay, so everything is in AMP only the domain. So this domain I can basically do a concatenation. So instead of this domain, I'll make it also AMP script. So concat. So at the rate domain REST API. Okay, REST domain. Say REST API, comma, and this is my code. Okay, so now this becomes my API trigger code snippet. So API trigger code snippet. Okay, whatever you want to give a name. So even the custom, I always like the custom key. Yeah, AMScript enablement, I have explained all this. So if I do this, right? So you just see what I can do. I create two code snippet. Now you see I have a access token and the API code snippet. Huh. Now inside my email, in this email, right? What I did, I simply called this content block and get the access token. Now I can basically fire that event, okay, using the another code snippet. So similarly, I can copy this. Okay, here I need to paste this code, and what is the, let's say I'm doing with the ID. So I'm going to call the ID. Now I'm going to paste. Okay, will this work or not? Deepak, see, I am only adding this two line of code to run my journey. Okay, the only thing
Yeah,
that I'm missing
without
here is, yeah, see, I'm only what I'm missing here is I haven't added the REST API. So I have to do a lookup, right? So either I can do, I can write a code snippet here. Another code snippet also can be added, or for simplicity, I can do this code snippet here. Okay. मेरा- hmm. So
okay,
here I
got
can
you.
do a lookup, right? And then I can do a lookup and get the REST API from the data extension,
Yes,
right? And I can build this subscriber key, API journey, establish contact key also. Everything is AMP variable. So I can do
yes,
all these things, right? So let's say REST API. So copy this REST API, okay, and you say set
set
and then REST API, and you do the
variable.
lookup.
Yeah, got you. Shashi.
Understood?
Yes,
Understood?
it's clear now. Yeah.
Following me? I don't have to basically go write all these things. Hopefully, if somebody find it issue, then I'll write everything, right? So first one is a data extension. So what is the data extension name? This is the API config. If I go, see, I can go on explaining detail into detail, right? Now, what you want? REST API. So I said REST. Okay. Based on what you have to search? Obviously, the primary key, journey builder, which I know this for session 4. Okay. So this is session 4. And then I say what I want is hard coding. Okay. Something has to be hard coded, which is basically pasted here. So I'm getting the REST API. One variable is defined now, right? With the other variable that has to be defined. Subscriber key. So how you're passing the subscriber key is up to you, right? So I can also set this up in the cloud base, whether you get it by request parameter or how is up to you. Following me? How many people are following
Yeah,
here
Shashi.
till now?
So far, this is the best efficient way, like to optimize
Hmm.
this API. I've seen
See,
it. Yeah. So without
so
exposing
every
the
variable,
code and
see,
the
uh,
client ID and secret. So this is the best
hmm,
way by using this content block by ID.
even even you can use it for any API event that you have in a
Yeah.
journey builder. Like I'm setting up the getting for session 4. So I'm getting the REST API. I can also like I have another variable that is was this? The API event key, right? Journey
Yes.
API event key. So I can
Yes.
set this also here. Hmm. So you
Yes.
see set at the rate journey API and do the lookup as the similar
Yes.
to this. Okay. And paste
We
it here.
can save
Okay.
all this,
So,
whatever the event ifs that are
hmm,
associated with the journeys in a data extension, and we can use the
yeah.
lookup to retrieve all these definition keys,
Hmm,
and we can use it accordingly in our code
see,
snippets. Yeah,
right. So
got you,
I
Shashi.
have
Yeah,
created I have created a generic code, and this code can be reused anywhere you want. So you don't have to
yes,
build 10, 100,000 cloud page
I
or
was,
something.
yes, Shashi. I
Hmm.
was looking for
In
this efficient way only, actually,
in your cloud
to be
base,
clear.
what you only need to do is you simply need to now instead of this, I'm going to first assign whatever variables I require. Like I have assigned
Yeah,
a REST API, get the REST API, SOAP API, authentication API. I can assign to a
yes,
variable. Okay. Then I assigned a API key, and also I can assign all this subscriber key, email address, first name, last name, and all. Right in this block, and then I can call this to code. Nobody will know what is happening, outside people, they will not know. So I'm basically
yes,
doing in a very optimized way. It went very long,
yes,
that's what I'm saying. It will go very deep if I start doing all this thing.
yes,
Hmm. So this is one of the efficient way to do it. Okay, I'm moving to other one, or maybe if we someday if we get, I can go very into detail. I know I don't know how much people let me. Okay, just to see why I'm not going into detail is people have to understand. Hmm.
yes, yes,
Vaibhav, did you understand what I said till now?
Yes, Shashi. I'm trying to understand, trying to process.
Hmm. Hmm. Ankita?
Yes, Shashi. I didn't try these things, but yeah, I know that how can we like through Postman I tried this, and the way you explained that we without showing anything on the to any user, we can do this. So yeah, it's really efficient.
Okay. Hmm. Sai Dinesh?
Yes, some things not understood, CC, but it's fine. I will go through the video again.
Hmm.
Remaining things I have,
Okay.
few things I have understood.
Yeah. So Deepak Sumit, right? This is the reason, I don't want to, क्योंकि ये बहुत सबके उसमें नहीं घुसेगा. Hmm. It requires very long patience, understanding, or a lot of nitty gritties. But yeah, there's a lot of efficient way to do it. I just gave few examples. Hmm. I can go even deep, but I don't want. That's why I'm restricting myself. Hope you understand. No, Deepak and Sumit for you,
sure, Shashi.
especially.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll
Hmm.
move on to the other questions as well. Yeah.
Now,